Hey, fans. No, that's not me. I don't call you fans. I find that to be presumptuous, a little egotistical. You're not even my listeners. You are listeners of podcasts that happen at this time to have downloaded Fitzdog Radio. And I thank you for that. I'm glad to be a part of your life. It's been many years, and someday I will feel entitled enough to call you my fans, but for now I'll just say you're my friends. How about that? I've got a little bit of a headache. I went to the dentist this morning, and I had a cavity filled back here. Can you see that? And then my two front teeth, you're not going to believe this shit. The two corners, I got this gap between my teeth, and then the two corners on the gap were completely chipped away from years and years of biting my nails and playing sports and whatever else. And the doctor fucking rebuilt my front teeth. He filled in the chips in the corners, and it's the exact same color, and it's the perfect shape, and I'm so happy. I wanted to kiss the guy in the mouth, but we both had masks on, and he's a gentleman. I'm married. There was many reasons I didn't kiss him on the mouth, but then he worked. It was the backmost. I guess it's the wisdom tooth. The wisdom tooth had a cavity, but it was in between the two teeth. So it was really hard to get to, and it was a big-ass cavity. He kept telling me how big it was. And so it was a lot of work, and I got a fucking headache from the drilling that he did on my teeth. So I just rummaged through my knapsack, and I found some aspirin that expired in February 2015. Took them anyway, because I believe in the medical industry. Who knows? Might die, might help me. I've also, by the way, got back from the dentist appointment and got a phone call from somebody who I interviewed yesterday for the podcast. We did a very long interview, and then I hung out at this person's house for another hour and a half after the podcast, just hanging out. Couple hugs, and then I got a call from that person today saying that they have COVID-19. So I have very much been exposed to the virus. And as you know, I am a novid. I am somebody who has not caught the virus after 2 years of being on the road in the presence of many sick people. Somehow I didn't get it because I'm stronger than you. And now who knows? They say you can't. I've been researching it, and they say you shouldn't even test yourself for 5 days because that's how long it takes to incubate and show up. So for 5 days, which means I leave on Friday for Arkansas, and I won't know until that day whether I have the bloody virus. So what am I supposed to do? Preemptively cancel because I've been exposed? Or do I lay low for the week and hope for the best and then cancel the show's day of? Should I call the club owner? I don't know. I don't seem to catch it, so maybe I shouldn't worry about it. It's just a flu. It's not just a flu. I don't want to give it to people. I know my wife's going to make me sleep in the other room. That's for damn sure. I'm going to be sleeping alone for the next few nights. So, who knows? But I was at that dentist. Man, you're staring straight up, and you're staring at him and the assistant. And her job is to just take the sucker and stick it in your mouth and have it get stuck to the side of your mouth occasionally and under your tongue. And you're staring at his eyes, and it's awkward. And I just thought, why not put a TV screen on the roof, the ceiling of the room? Just put a screen up there. I don't know what you show. Put horrible stuff up there to mitigate the pain you're going through. It should be like women in childbirth, breached births, triplets. It should be horrific scenes of childbirth to make you feel like, oh, this is fine. It should be ISIS beheadings and no, that's dark, but it should be, I don't know, 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 it should be, I don't it should be stuff that makes you feel like, in the scope of things, this is not a big deal. And I'm supposed to play night golf tonight. Me and Gibbons and Rabi and Dugan are going to play some night golf. We tee off about an hour before the sun goes down, and then we have these glow-in-the-dark balls. So after like 4 or 5 holes, we break out the glow-in-the-dark balls after the sun goes down. But now I got a fucking headache. I don't know if I can play. Plus, I texted them. I told them all I was exposed, and they all said, it's fine, we're outside. But I think I should probably wear a mask. I'll wear a mask. Why not? Maybe it'll help my game. Here's the Gold's Gym update. So I get this unsolicited questionnaire from Gold's Gym on Sunday asking me how my experience is at Gold's Gym. So, as many of you know from listening to the podcast, I have had some issues at the gym. I have felt frustrated with management. And so I said that on the questionnaire. I said, well, I think the general manager is rude, because if you didn't hear the other podcast, I jumped over the turnstile because it wasn't working, and he kind of yelled at me. But it wasn't the first time. We'd had run-ins before where, I found out the gym had been open for 3 months, and I'd been getting charged on my credit card after the pandemic. They were shut down, and then they reopened, but nobody told me they reopened. So for 3 months, I'm paying my membership, and I'm not going. So I talked to the manager. I said, hey, I think you should refund that. And he just went, nope. It was just like a no. There was nothing understanding. There was no like, well, let's compromise. Nothing like that, which I was put off by. And then my sister came to town a couple weeks ago, and I went in and I asked if I could get a one-day guest pass after being a member for years. I was like, I got to get a one-day guest pass. And they kind of like gave me a fucking attitude about it. And I was just like, I don't need this shit. What is with this fucking gym? So I'm thinking about leaving the gym. Anyway, I fill out the form, and like 5 minutes later, I get a reply from the general manager, from the guy that I had the yelling match with at Gold's Gym, saying, I apologize that if I came off as rude. I was a little taken aback by you jumping over the turnstile. And it was a very generous, very kind email, which I appreciated. And now I don't know how to reply to that, because I don't want to like bring up the other incidents now. Maybe I should just make the peace, right? I don't know. Maybe I just need to find another gym. I mean, look at this. These guns don't feed themselves, people. If you're not watching this on video, you're missing a really big portion of the show. Heading out to Austin. Going to go do Rogan and Segura and Christina's podcast, Your Mom's House. Going to do that. Maybe play some golf with Tony Hinchcliffe. Check in with Adam Egett. Grab a lunch with him. Yeah. So that's coming up in 2 weeks. I got obsessed last week with the U.S. Open. For 2 weeks, I watched the U.S. Open for probably 2 hours a day. I get obsessed. I just don't know that there's a better sporting event than the U.S. Open. And I mean, men's and women's were both outstanding this year. And I got disappointed. All the people I was pulling for got knocked out early. And, Serena got knocked out. Nadal got knocked out. Djokovic didn't even show up. Coco knocked out. So it was tough. Oh, and then what's his name? Who's the new guy that I like? What's the guy's name? Black guy whose father was a janitor at a tennis center, and they used to sleep in his office at the tennis center, and that's how he learned tennis. I mean, holy shit. You gotta love this guy. I can't remember his fucking name. I hadn't really watched him much before this tournament, but he's up there. He's got to be a top 10 player now. Powerful serve. Big smile. Good attitude. Good sport. Anyway, re-up my bet. Very into sports lately. I re-up my bet. I'm in 2 different football pools. There's a lot of upset in the football pool world. There was a lot of crazy upsets this past Sunday. So if you're in a betting pool, chances are you were knocked out of it this week. And then and then I re-up my bet with Gibbons, $50 a game, every game of the season. I get the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. No points. Oh, no, with points. With points. So I'm going to have to give points. Last year, I think I won. I can't remember if I won or lost last year. But the first year, I won a shitload. Just betting on Tom Brady. Don't like him, but I'll bet on him. Might get back into baseball. They're adding a clock to baseball, which I've been arguing for years. That just like fucking basketball, there is a shot clock, and you have to pitch the goddamn ball within whatever it is, 40 seconds. I don't know how much time they're putting on the clock. Keep the game moving. Nobody has 3.5 hours to watch a sporting event. Unless it's men's tennis, and it's a 5-setter, and it's 5 hours, which was one of the games that, who's the guy that won? The guy that won the U.S. Open played 4 5-set matches. It's fucking crazy. Anyway, enough sports. I was listening to Taylor Swift because people talk about Taylor Swift as being one of the biggest selling artists of all time. She's got all kinds of records. So I said, you know what? I never really got into her. I always liked that song, Shake It Off. I thought that was a cool pop song. So I listened to it, and it's good. You know, it's good music. It's not horrible. It's not great. It's pop. It's a lot of her still playing the role of a teenager being broken up with, or, you know, drama of a child. She's still kind of, you know, she's a little bit, what do you call it? Arrested Development as a person in her songwriting. But then again, that was from, I listened to an album from 2017, and she was still sounding like a teenager. And then I said, let me listen to who I think is phenomenal. And I put on the Fugees, Lauryn Hill in the Fugees. I mean, the score is one of the greatest albums ever made. And then I listened to Nothing Compares to You, Sinead O'Connor. And I'm sorry, Taylor, I know you've sold more records than them. You are not in the neighborhood. You're not in the zip code of these two. But Sinead went nuts, and I think Lauryn went nuts. I think they both had mental health issues. I think that Sinead claims she has borderline personality. Her son killed himself. She tried to kill herself. She said she has bipolar. She's got a bunch of problems, but it's a shame because she's brilliant. Brilliant. Outspoken, interesting, ballsy. So anyway, check out, if you need an album to listen to today, put on Nothing Compares to You. Every single song is well orchestrated, great lyrics, musically amazing, and her voice is as good as any voice I've ever heard. And she's Irish. Did I mention she's Irish? All right, let's do some mail. This one comes from Popcorn Mount, who says, what up, Fitzdog? Huge fan. It's been fun following your career and witnessing your crawl to the middle. It's been a good crawl. It seems as if you've had a loss of faith in God recently. Did something specific happen to prompt this, or was it Gibbons' relentless logic? I remember you famously argued for the existence of the Lord in a podcast with Ari. Just curious. Well, listen, Popcorn. I have never argued the existence of the Lord. I have talked about God. I've always just used the term God because I was raised very Catholic. And I had a relationship with the Lord Jesus Christ when I was young. He was my boy. We were tight. We talked. I still respect him, but I don't use the word Lord. I think of God more as a thing that keeps me honest. God is a power that keeps me accountable to myself. I feel like God to me is, I know what my core beliefs are and my values are, and I put those out there to God, and he holds me responsible to them. Not his 10 commandments. Those are his. My commandments I live by, but I do it through God. If that makes, I don't think you can't explain God. If you truly believe in God, it is it's ephemeral. It's not transcribable. It's not communicable. It's something that lives in you, in your spirit, in your soul. And I can't answer an email to my website about if I believe in God, because I don't want you to believe in my God. I don't give a shit. He's my God. Get your own God. But Gibbons is full of shit. Gibbons is just reflexively, he's anti-authority. He's got issues. There's nothing to do with God. It has to do with the head of the network is the same as God to him. His teacher was the same as God to him. His father was the same as God to him. He needs to rebel against anybody telling him what to do. But my God doesn't tell me what to do. I tell my God what I should be accountable for. And I feel that he always loves me, but he's checking on me, making sure I live up to what I believe is right. All right, enough of that. All right, let's do some overheards. Adam Bean, who's a big friend of the show. We love Adam Bean. He says, at a quiet Starbucks, young female barista working behind the counter to an off-duty young female barista sitting at the counter. Quote, I was the president of the French club for 3 years at my high school, and I can't even find France on a map. Well, yeah, it sounds like that made me think of Rushmore, the character in Rushmore who starts all the clubs. He's the president of the debate team and the chess club and the Latin club. And you don't really, I wish I could go back to high school and start clubs, because all it takes is like 2 other members, and then you're the creator and president of a club. Put that on your college resume. I did start the golf team. There was no golf team at my high school, and I knew that there was like 6 or 7 good golfers. And so I found us a coach. I found us a golf course that would let us play, and we started a team. And I'm not making this up. In our first season, we were undefeated, and we won the league that year, first year. And so, yeah, I think that might have got me into college. Mark Hurdle says, I walked by a group of 4 sitting outside, 2 men, 2 women. One man says, quote, they're disabled and they're liars. And they're disabled. And you realize, like, there's a portion of our society that is hell-bent, that is obsessed with anybody getting a break. They don't want anybody getting a fucking break. You know what I mean? Unless you are on fucking life support because you were fighting for your country, you shouldn't get help. You shouldn't get a handicap placard. You fucking walk. You find a spot like me. Why do you get a break? You know? How come you get to park? How come you get this? Well, what are you worried about? I know a guy who's got a placard. He's got a fake placard. Puts it up. What kind of life are you living? Derek K says, I heard 2 at the TSA. 3 20-something girls. One says, oh my God, she snores like man. So women aren't supposed to snore. My wife snores. She's getting an operation this week. You know that thing that dangles in the back of your throat? The little punching bag? She's getting that snipped or cut down because apparently that can cause snoring. I'm getting my wife fixed. She's getting fixed this week. We'll see if it helps. But she's a snorer. It's bad. I shouldn't be selling her out on the podcast, should I? And finally, well, you know, I just want to go out on a little bit of a low note. A guest of the show gentleman who was on here about 4 weeks ago, David A. Arnold. He was a fantastic guest. He's a guy that I've started to get to know at the Comedy Store over the last 6 months or so. He's been around a lot. He passed away this week. So if you listen to that podcast and you were, if you enjoyed it, if you enjoyed getting to know him a little bit, I'm sorry to break the news to you. They just said natural causes. I think it was probably a heart attack or something. He was about 53 years old. And just had everything going on. He just had his second stand-up special came out. Kevin Hart produced his new stand-up special. He is a showrunner on a Nickelodeon show. He's one of the very few black showrunners in Hollywood. He had a show that was like #1 on Nickelodeon called The Girl Lele, and he just was a super sweet, nice, funny, vivacious, caring, good friend. I mean, I talked to a couple of people. Chris Spencer was close friends with him, and people are devastated. It's really rough, and it was a really sad feeling all week at the Comedy Store where he's a regular. So anyway, my thoughts are with his family, and sorry for your loss. So that's it. All right, to cheer you up, let's do an ad. BetterHelp. Maybe that made you sad hearing that news. I got sad. I talked to a therapist at BetterHelp.com, and I found them like that online. I filled out a questionnaire. I put in the things that bother me. I put in what my history is, and they paired me up with a therapist who was perfect for me. Now, if she were not perfect for me, I can ask for another one and get another one right away. And within 36 hours, you get a therapist and a replacement therapist. So, look, are you stuck focusing on problems instead of solutions? Time to get a new mindset. Train your brain to be in the problem-solving mode when faced with a challenge in life. But when you learn how to find your own solution, there's no better feeling. A therapist can help you become better at problem-solving yourself, making it easier to accomplish your goals, no matter how big or how small. Look, just get involved. Do it for yourself. Do it for your loved ones. Maybe you got a lot of stress. Maybe you've got trauma. Maybe you have just baseline depression you want to work on. There's a lot of different techniques that BetterHelp can help you with. It's a great option, and it's much cheaper than traditional therapy. So when you want to be a better problem solver, therapy can get you there. Visit BetterHelp.com/Fitzdog today and get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp.com/Fitzdog. Do it. Enjoy it. You'll thank me. You'll also thank me if you come out and see me do some stand-up this weekend in Arkansas, Lowell, Arkansas, September 16 and 17 at the Grove. Also coming in New Orleans and Lafayette, Louisiana, October 6th and 7th. Chicago, October 15th at the Den Theater. San Francisco Punchline, November 3rd through 5th. Tampa Side Splitters, November 17th through 19th. Oklahoma City on December 1st, Fort Worth, Texas on December 2nd and 3rd. Go to Fitzdog.com to get yourself some tickets. Come out and see some live comedy. My guest today has been on the show many times. He's a very good dude. You know him from Wait, Don't Tell Me. You know him. I think he won Last Comic Standing. He was a judge on Last Comic Standing. He's had some shows on the Speed Channel. He's just a guy who's He's a legendary headliner. He's a journeyman that turns in rock solid shows night after night. As a fucking good dude. He's a good friend. And I know you're going to love him, much as I loved him. Here's our chat from last week. Here it is. Alonzo Bodden. Alonzo Bodden sits in Fitzdog Studios, baby. Back.
Happy to be back live. We are actually not Zooming. I don't know if we ever did anything. Did we do anything together through Zoom?
Yeah, we did.
We did something,
yes,
right? Oh, was it that helium New Year's thing? Was it that? Or?
No, but I can remember seeing you. What was your background on your Zoom?
Well, sometimes I used the fake one. Otherwise, it was just like a wooden window shades, wooden window shutters.
Yeah.
Behind me.
Yeah.
I never went all in. Like, I went all in. I got a good microphone. I got lights.
Yeah.
But I never went all in to do the green screen background. And, you know, there are people who just had it all set up.
I painted this green
wall.
Because I said that I'm going to green screen and I'm going to put in cool shit. I didn't realize it has to be keyed in an exact shade of green.
Yeah.
It's not just any green. Yeah.
So
I tried to do it, and this was a colossal failure. And now I have a dark green wall behind me.
But it fits.
It fits.
It fits. Actually, with this yellow wall, these are my high school colors, green and yellow. So I'm very comfortable here.
The Green Bay Packers colors? Yeah. What was your high school called?
Aviation.
Oh, that's right. You learned, that's
Long
right.
Island City.
And was that hard to get into, or was that just...
Back then, you had to take a test to get in, and then they opened the school, the academic portion, but you had to test to get into the shop portion.
Okay.
To learn the aerospace.
Yeah.
But that was back in the day.
Was that considered BOCES?
What do you mean BOCES?
When I grew up in New York also, and the program called BOCES, it was something occupational. It was occupational training rather than straight academic.
No, because we had both. So we were the ones with the long school day. We had like a 9-period school day. Yeah. Because you had 5 periods of academic, the normal stuff.
Right.
And then 4 periods of shop.
Damn.
Yeah, it was a job. You were at school. We were at school from 8 to 4, something like that. Some ridiculous.
Were you ever doing anything that was being sold? Like
No. But that's why, I tell people, now, right? Kids, when they go to school, you have kids, right?
Yeah.
People take them to school, or I was like, we commuted, we jumped on the subway and the bus just like adults did. It's another one of those things that, well, in New York they probably still do it, but most places they're like, what?
Now my kids,
you're 14, you it's like, and nobody even thought of it, right, as being unusual. They were like, well, how else are you going to get there?
Right. Yeah, my wife grew up on the Upper West Side, and she went to school on the Upper East Side, and she used to take the M86 bus across town and the 6 train down, and she was 14 years old.
Yeah, and,
I mean, she got beat up and she was molested.
Oh, that's too bad.
No, she wasn't.
That's it. He had to ruin it. No, we were actually the ones who did it. I've been meaning to apologize to you. It's been a long time. I believe the statute of limitations has expired.
So you went from Queens all the way to the Upper East Side just to beat up kids?
Well, we figured we wouldn't get recognized up there.
My commute to school, because I went to I grew up with some money. And so my parents grew up dirt poor in the Bronx. My dad got into radio. He made some money. And then once he started making money, he took me out of public school and he put me in private school. But it was all the way across the county. It was like a 25-minute drive.
Oh, okay.
Because we didn't live in the best part of the county. And I went to this fancy school. But the way they would get me there, because the local school, I don't know why, but they had to provide transportation. So I got on a school bus every day with girls that were all going to Catholic schools. So it was a long yellow bus, every seat filled.
That's when you developed the little skirt fetish.
Yes. That's when I got really into Van Halen videos. Hot for Teacher. Plaid. Oh, those little fucking legs that was shooting out of the, I would look down, I'd just look down the row and I'd see all their little thighs sticking out.
I don't think there's any of this we can talk about anymore. You have to erase the first 15 minutes of what we've talked about.
That's how we know we're doing a good podcast. So wait, do you have kids?
No.
Oh, you don't have kids.
As a matter of fact, and I was thinking this, you've never come on my podcast, so I got to get you on. And one of the reasons is I'm very lazy about guests. Yeah. Because it's so much easier to record it on my own and just give them 20 minutes of my rambling.
Yeah.
But a comic asked me something that I can talk to you about because he asked me if I ever regretted not getting married and not having kids.
Yeah.
And I was like, no. I've always just loved this, and like this has been the career. But what I said was, if you're going to get married, I think you need to do it at the beginning of your career so they take the ride with you.
Right.
I think they understand a lot better, because one of the problems I've had with women is they don't understand the lifestyle.
Yeah.
Because I meet them on a down period when I'm home. And then I say, look, this is not like normally I travel, I work, and they're like, yeah, it's okay, it's okay. Then you start doing it and you're gone like every weekend. Or then they're like, when are you home? It's like, I told you that this is the gig. So I think are you and your wife, now you guys have been together a long time.
Yeah, we met.
She's been on the ride.
Yeah, I wasn't successful when I met her. Literally 5 minutes later, I started to get some success. And so she knew me when I was staying in comedy condos in Green Bay, Wisconsin, and we were driving to gigs together. And I was, but I was out in New York City 5-6 nights a week going to the clubs. So even then, she knew I'm not gonna. Here's what I did. Is I said, all right, I'll do my spots. I'll get them all done between 8 and 10, and then I'll be home for the 11 o'clock rerun of Seinfeld. And that was the beginning part of our relationship. Yeah. It was and even now, when I'm in town, I don't work Saturday nights, and I don't take spots before 9:30. So I'm home for dinner, and Saturday night is date night. Yeah. I also don't take spots Sunday and Monday night. So maybe I go out 3 nights a week, maybe 4 nights a week, and it's after dinner. So I made concessions. And she made a lot of concessions. She put up with a lot.
But she also appreciates it because she saw the journey.
Yes.
So, I mean, that's the thing to understanding it, right? If you're not on the journey, then you don't understand, what it takes and why we do it.
Right.
Because if you spend time with a comic, there was one woman I dated, and she had been married to a comic, and she said, listen, I love you. I can't do it again.
Yeah.
She was it's you guys are just too much.
How would she even date another comic after that? Didn't she learn? Yeah. Damn. You know who I dated? Do you remember a guy? Who was the guy from Ghost? Latino comic from New York.
Oh, that was the show Craig Robinson and another guy. You talking about that Ghost? Or
No. Demi Moore Ghost.
Oh, from that.
Do you remember that comic?
No.
He died of AIDS.
I'm vaguely remembering the movie, but no, I don't remember.
He died of AIDS, and then I started dating his girlfriend a week after he died, which risky on my end, but more risky on her end.
What would you rather risk?
Rick Avias was his name.
Would you rather risk AIDS or a comic? If you talk to a woman who has dated a comic, that's not an easy decision.
Yes. I'll definitely take the protected sex over alone every Thursday to Saturday. Yeah.
Yeah, I had just started dating a girl when when Last Comic started.
Yeah.
And I always said, that relationship didn't have a chance, because once Last Comic started, now I'm busy with the show and I'm on the road. I'm suddenly making big money on the road, so I'm on the road all the time. And it was I said, I wish I had met you a year before this or a year after this.
Yeah.
Because when you're going through that, I don't know how to navigate this. I don't know what's what,
Right.
And she said, can I get a surrogate boyfriend for a weekend date?
That seems fair.
Yeah.
I've always thought that with my wife is she would never cheat on me. She's just the most pure human being I've ever met in my life. She's an angel, and not in a goody two shoes way. Like she's wild in her own way, but she also is just very true. She would never cheat on me. But if she had, and I found out, I honestly would not be that upset. I think I would forgive her because I would understand she was alone a lot, and if she made a mistake, that's fine.
Yeah, that's like the long distance thing.
Yeah.
Right, which can only last X amount of time.
Yeah.
Although I did have a woman say, what if we got married and I kept my place in Chicago and you kept your place in L.A.?
Sounds good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not sure why we would be married then. Like, what is it? A tax break?
Yeah,
what is
right. Yeah. You want my insurance?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you want comic insurance?
Yeah.
No, you don't want. You want actor insurance.
Yeah,
you don't want comic insurance.
Right. Yeah, it's hard. So when something really big happens for you, like suddenly you're a regular on Wait, Don't Tell Me or something, and who do you call and share it with? Who's your person?
I have friends who are like family.
Yeah.
Like friends who I went to high school with and their family. You know, those are the spend Thanksgiving and Christmas with their kids or my nieces and nephews.
Yeah.
So they're probably the ones that get it. Like I'll share it with somebody if I'm dating at the time, but it's not the same as the people who've watched it all happen.
Right.
So that's a bigger deal.
Right. And those people live in New York?
No, they live here. Because after aviation, we got hired by Lockheed.
Oh, you were in San Diego.
A bunch of us moved out here,
right?
You know, to California. So I got good people. You know, my brother is probably my best. Like he's ridden the whole career, and he's also my best critic. Like he can see when I'm working or when I'm thinking. Like he'll be like, "You're in your head right now," and stuff like that. Like he sees that.
Yeah.
And he loves when I bomb. He loves it. He's like, yeah, and not a good one tonight. Not your best one tonight.
Right.
Because because you know how you get to the point now when we say bomb, but you don't bomb on the whole set, but you just try an idea or something and it just falls. So this is when I knew my brother understood comics. He came with me to Montreal one year. And he was like, so, this is the biggest comedy festival in the world, right? I said, like, yeah, it's one of them. He said, so, arguably, you guys are like the 100 best comics work. And I'm like, yeah, I guess, you could argue that. He's like, the most miserable people I've ever seen. He's like, standing ovation, and you walk out, not one smile. Everybody's in. I'm like, yeah, you got it.
Right. Yeah, it's true.
Right? 'Cause what do we remember? We remember the joke we didn't tell.
Right.
The laugh we didn't get.
The people that were talking while you were doing a bit, the waitress that dropped a tray.
Right. Or the worst, the guy who had the thought you wish you had.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, you mean somebody heckles you with a good line?
No, I mean the other comic.
Oh, right.
Comic and you're like, man.
Yeah.
Oh man, that was right there.
But that's a function of how hard you have to push yourself to stay at the forefront of this business. Like, it's a game of inches. It's like watching the U.S. Open, man. You watch these tennis players, until they win and they drop down to their knees, they're fucking miserable. Even when they win a big point, there's an anger to them saying, yeah! There's no joy until the very end. Yeah,
well, one of the things, I haven't been able to make it work yet, but like comedy, like everything's violent. I killed, I murdered, I bombed. Like everything is horribly violent
destroyed.
About comedy. I destroyed, there's nothing. Man, I had a really good time. What? What?
How was your show last night? It was pleasant.
Yeah.
It was very pleasant. Yeah.
Like, oh man, he sucks.
Yeah. If you're not feeling something, and those bombs are just as important for your growth.
Oh, like absolutely.
My best shows come the show after the bomb is always a fucking killer show.
Yeah.
If I could try to bomb the night before I tape my next 1 hour special, I would do it. I would go to like a black club in the Bronx and just go up there and get annihilated.
Yeah. Or destroy.
Yeah, that might be good for me.
Yeah.
What were your clubs when you were in New York?
I started here.
Oh, you didn't really?
I was already here.
Okay. Have you gone to New York much?
Yeah. So New York, this was my thing with New York and Boston. Those were the tests.
Boston is definitely a test.
Because I was an L.A. comic.
Yeah.
And needless to say, especially in the 90s when I was going there, L.A. comics were not looked upon. Like New York had no respect for us.
Right, still don't.
So when I went to New York and I met all those guys, Talent and Keith Robinson and that whole crew.
Patrice.
And they laughed. Like I got their respect. I felt really good about that. Like, I'm an LA comic, but they're but I'm okay.
Right.
You know, I can sit at the table.
Right.
So that's a good, because as far as they were concerned, every comic in LA had 6 minutes for a sitcom.
Yep.
And that was it.
Right. Well, it's true. I mean, I still feel like, I mean, I respect a lot of the comics in LA, but I would have to say the median comic in LA versus New York, there's no comparison. Because New York comics just simply are getting more stage time. I think the crowds are less about seeing a celebrity. I think they're tougher in a good way. I think you can get away with more.
New York, I've always said the great thing about New York is you can talk about anything as long as it's funny.
Right.
Whereas in LA, if you go some places, it's just too dark for the audience.
Yes.
And they, ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh. The other night, I did a bit and I said whore. And these women after the show were like, that's kind of harsh.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's harsh?
Yeah.
You know, because I was joking about women talking about other women at the club. And what do they say? That's exactly what they say. You see that whore in that dress? Like,
right.
That is, I've known women all my life. That is what they say amongst themselves.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah, I had some women, like, I had some woman start screaming at me because she had her 2 daughters there, and I was doing stuff that she found to be misogynistic. And I was at the Improv.
Yeah.
She left. She got kicked out because she went fucking ballistic.
Yeah.
And I, of course, am just got the gas can out. And just
absolutely.
Put it over her head.
Better.
Yeah. I mean, and the funny thing is, the 2 daughters loved it.
Yeah.
One of them actually said, "Mom, shut the fuck up." And so they dragged the mom out. And then I finished my set, and I'm out, and she's standing by the valet parker, and she fucking lays into me again.
Wow.
And at that point, I'm off stage. I'm off the clock.
Right.
I'm not engaging with this fucking woman, this whore. And so I just start walking away, and I'm walking down Melrose to my car, and here's this woman standing in front of the club screaming. All the comics are standing up front laughing while she's yelling at me, and I'm just
having her Karen moment.
Yes. But isn't that an interesting personality? Somebody that gives voice to their objection about what a performer is saying on stage. Like, what empowers you and entitles you?
We are the only ones they do it to.
Yeah.
Nobody's at Hamilton. Thomas Jefferson never said that.
Right.
Who's what?
Yeah.
What? Alexander Hamilton didn't rap?
Yeah.
Like nobody else gets that, right? Nobody's at a concert like, you didn't write that song.
Yeah. That's hilarious.
Right?
No, right. You're not at a ballet going, that's Baryshnikov's spin. Yeah, but for us, it's like, it's so personal. I think it's like when podcasters talk about the difference between a fan approaches you versus somebody who is a movie star. Like, if you see Adam Sandler, you don't necessarily feel entitled to walk up and go, hey, Adam, how's it going? Oh, this is your wife, Sandy? But a podcaster's been in your earbuds while you're walking your dog and exercising. Like, it's a personal relationship and it's intimate.
I found that out back when we did Last Comic, because we did it when it was a reality show.
Yeah.
Right? So people would start talking to me like mid-conversation, and then I'd be like, oh, wait, you saw me on TV. I don't know you. Because you're thinking, like, do I know you? Am I not? And then you're like, oh, wait, you don't know me. You just saw me talk about, what high school I went to or something. You saw me talking with Kathleen Madigan about an old girlfriend, and now you're asking how she's doing or so. It's a very weird. I don't know if you've ever dabbed a toe in the world of reality TV.
No.
It is a very strange place.
Yeah.
Because reality TV stars, that's their talent.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they do. And when you're around them, like their fans, they become that character.
Right.
It would be like somebody saying, hey, Fitz, on the street, and then you look at them and do 2 minutes. Right. It's a very weird.
Yeah.
It's a very weird world.
The medium is your personality. It's not your writing. It's not your performing. It's you. And now they're getting to experience it firsthand.
Yeah. So you have to be that, so whatever you create, I hope you like it.
Yeah. Right. Fuck, man. It is a logical extension, though. Reality TV is, I mean, when you think about how pre-produced and planned and focus grouped and noted by the network all the programming became, it was totally natural to want to see real people just behaving in a real way as entertainment, you know? I mean, some reality TV is fucking amazing.
Yeah, but the problem is, though, once they saw how ugly reality is, they started saying, okay, we need to plan and produce and write it. You know what I mean? So it became like, we need to do it again. It's funny because the woman you were talking about when you were telling that story, you know what I thought of? She's living Twitter.
Yeah.
Right? She thinks Twitter's real life.
Yeah.
So she can post comments after your
yeah, life's got a bulletin board that you're constantly putting shit up on. Yeah. Your opinion matters. No matter what happens, your opinion matters. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fascinating. It's another thing I've been talking about. So science and education don't matter anymore because the person has followers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you have a PhD, but they've got 100,000 followers, and they treat you like you're equal.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, they know 99,999 people as dumb as they are.
Yeah.
Like you know.
Well, it's the reason why they have the, you know, everybody argues, and I would love to see the Electoral College go away.
Absolutely.
But it is the argument for it is that you don't want the general population, because populist thoughts can sway very violently one way or another. And you don't necessarily want legislation that's dictated by what the current hot thought is in the country. And so you have this barrier, you have this speed bump where you elect officials who are hopefully more reasonable electors than the individual.
Yeah, but that ship has sailed.
Yeah.
They're less reasonable than the populace.
Good point.
You look at our politicians, right? When you talk about a reality show, like, I just left Atlanta. Okay, you watch those political commercials in Atlanta, and it's like, yeah, we're done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's anywhere, right? Like, you look at Marjorie Taylor Greene and Boebert, and you're like, remember Sarah Palin? Remember the good old days?
Yes. Remember George W. Bush?
Right.
Yeah.
I was just reading an article about, remember when he was the worst president we ever had?
Right.
Like, he's a mild-mannered guy.
Yeah, I know. He's been fully exonerated. Not fully. There are people that point out little details like he started Al-Qaeda. He is the reason why there is a major Islamist movement and going on right now.
Arguably, Dick Cheney is the guy.
Yes.
But so, you know, the thing, what you're saying, the Electoral College, but that was, and again, this was before this crazed reality era we're in, right? We're two old men talking now, right?
Yeah.
But that there was a time when, as a politician, you were expected to be more intelligent and more reasonable than the average person.
And fair.
Yeah.
There was a sense of fair play.
Right. And the two sides would work together. And now it's so now that, there's more insanity, like, you know, there's more insanity than Congress. Like, you couldn't run your company the way Congress operates. No, nothing would ever get done because a company has to have a 10 or a 20 or a 30-year plan, and politics is all midterm election to midterm election, and it all changes. And you have to, and in a company, you have to be willing to be wrong or listen to somebody who has a new idea.
Right.
Like, somebody's got a better way to do this.
Yeah.
And it's the person who's been doing it. Like, that's another thing we've lost respect for, just the intelligence. Like, oh, you've been making widgets for 20 years?
Right.
So you probably know how to make a pretty good widget.
Right.
Nah, I was on the internet. I saw widget.com. I was on widget.com. I don't need you with your experience and education.
Yeah, right. No, it's like the guys that would go between the people that could cross the aisle and bring people together, those are seen as evil now. Those people can't exist anymore. Yeah.
That is absolute surrender.
Yeah.
Compromise. on anything.
And that's on both sides. That's I think you and I both are pretty liberal. But at the same time, I can't sit here and say that my side has not led to this kind of even gerrymandering. People act like it's a conservative thing. The Democrats are as guilty of gerrymandering, maybe not as successful at it.
That's what it is.
But they've tried it as much.
The Democrats aren't. But you know what I think that is? Because the Republicans just have a couple of simple things. Like they're good at the one issue vote.
Keep it simple.
And the Democrats, the infighting doesn't allow for one issue. Like the Republicans just say, they're killing the babies. And they're like, they're killing the babies. And it's like, they're not really killing the babies. But there's this, that, and then there's 15 social programs on the Democratic side. Right. And now it's all lost. And now the Republicans say, stop killing the babies.
Yeah. No, when there's an election, the Republicans, the talking points are on a website. And every one of those politicians goes to the same website every day.
Yeah.
And they regurgitate. And you'll see the talking points. Sometimes they're generated by Breitbart, and they just get cut and pasted right onto that site, and then they all regurgitate them, and that's consistency.
Yeah.
And that message, once you hear what's the saying? Once you hear something 100 times, it becomes true or something? Yeah.
Well, that was, I think Cheney said that they print the story on the front page, and they print a retraction on page 6.
Right, exactly.
So that's why you tell the lie.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen to the letter generations, X, Y, and Z. What country do they have in 50 years? I have no idea.
Right. Do you think there's any chance we'll ever have a third party? Because I know that Andrew Yang and a couple other people are trying to start one now.
The biggest problem with the third party, and the reason it's going to be hard to crack, is the money. The money in politics, I mean, it was already there. And then when the Supreme Court said a corporation is a person that can donate any amount they want through a PAC, if you're a third party, how do you compete with the billions of dollars these two parties have? And like they say, your big corporations, your healthcare or Wall Street or whatever, they're bribing both sides, right? They're already paying both sides to make sure whoever wins, I'm your friend, and this and that. So if you're a third party, and how do you get Congress, the people who are pocketing this money, to vote against them pocketing the money?
Yeah.
How do you get Congress to why would they take money out of politics? It's like NASCAR, the NASCAR comparison, right? You're not going to get NASCAR to give up the money from Tide or I don't know, whatever company sponsor.
STP.
Yeah. So same way with Congress. What are you going to tell them to give up NRA money or pharmaceutical money or whatever?
Right. When they know their chance of getting reelected hinges entirely on that money.
Yeah. Well, like I say, if there's any question of how corrupt politicians are, it's like, so a congressperson spends $10 million to get a job that pays $175,000 a year.
Something's wrong with that. Yeah, right. But you do get a key. Do I get the key?
Yeah, you get in.
You get the key. All right, I'll take it. So let's talk about Wait, Don't Tell Me, which I think is interesting because it's not a political show. You guys kind of go out of your way to touch on politics without necessarily shitting too hard on, let's be honest, the right.
Yeah, we had a Trump rule. During Trump's administration, they quickly made a rule, one Trump joke per show.
Between everybody? Or each person? Each person got one?
Got one.
Okay.
Because they didn't want the whole show to turn, because you could so easily be, well, he said this, he said that, right? And make fun of it. So what they try to do, and Peter Sagal, the host, he's like the driving force of the show. His thing, he said, listen, we're the escape for everyone.
Yeah.
Like all week they've been listening to the news, and the news has been horrible.
Yeah.
The news has been horrible. There's disasters, there's mass shootings, there's, corrupt politicians, there's all of this other stuff. So we're going to talk about the naked guy shopping in Germany.
Yep.
And the overpriced bird seed in St. Louis, that's, whatever.
Yeah.
because that's what he wants to provide. He wants to be the break. So we'll touch on those things, especially like in the lightning round, like, you know, do you know the Supreme Court made a ruling on blank? And,
right.
You know, but that's the idea. The idea is this is a break from hard news.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so when you go on this tour, because I know I'll announce some tour dates in a minute, but that's the Wait, Don't Tell Me stand-up tour. Are you aware on some level of trying to deliver the same kind of comedy on that?
No. See, the whole thing with the stand-up tour was uncensored.
Okay.
So you have so many comics on the show, right? Me, Maz, Helen Hong, Maeve Higgins, Tom Papa.
Does Paula Poundstone do it?
Too big a name.
Really?
She does her own thing.
Oh, Paula.
Yeah. No, she may drop in on some.
Okay.
But you have all these comics, so doing the live tour this is uncensored. This is no NPR execs. This is no FCC.
Okay.
So we're going to do the act.
Right.
You know, because they don't hear the act. They hear bits and they hear, you know, what we want to say. You know what I mean? Like you might aim at it, but now on the live tour, uncensored. And when we say uncensored, it's funny. People always think, all right, you're going to drop a bunch of F-bombs and this and that. And it's like, no, it's not that. It's the thing of, we don't have to be nice here.
Yeah.
We don't have to only do one Trump joke, or we don't have to be nice to Supreme Court, who I've been just ripping on. You know, Clarence Thomas. You know, if there's any way we as black people can get rid of him, we would be happy to.
Right. Or at least try to create a divorce. You wonder how much of that's coming from that wife of his. Jesus Christ. I'll tell you what, you work on Clarence, I'll work on the wife. But so do you get pushback from people sometimes at your own shows who expected something different from what they heard on?
No, I am lucky in the sense that, you know, being a black comic, because again, this all started during the Trump era, right? That's when comedy became this divisive thing, right. and our voices became, I say, we're held to a higher standard than politicians, which is utterly ridiculous.
Yeah, it is funny. Yeah.
Utterly ridiculous, but it's true, right? So that's when all this started. Well, when you see my face on the poster, you're like, this ain't a Trumper.
Yeah.
You know, it's harder on you, I would imagine, because they're like, oh, he's one of us. Yeah. You know, so no, I get almost no pushback in that. There's always one or two that's angry and walk out, and I really don't give a shit. Yeah. Like, you know, I had one guy calling me a communist, and then I was explaining to the audience what communism was, and, you know, the Reagan era and how the wall came down. I was like, because you guys are too young to understand what he's trying to say. Yeah. You know, and then he really got mad. Right. But it's like, yeah, man, you're picking the wrong insult.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, when these Republicans talk about their freedoms, they have no fucking idea what freedoms they already have. Right. You know, it's a joke. They're talking about, I mean, this country, if we could all take a giant step back and say, all right, we're fighting over some shit here, but look around. Look at what, you know, Venezuela is going through, and look at what happens in North Korea. Like, we're in really good shape. Let's not fuck this up.
Yeah, and there's also, and I guess this is why, but when you don't look at history, what they say, people don't learn history, are destined to repeat it. So it's like, yeah, look at all these fights. We already fought this. Yeah. We already been through this, you know. So how come, you know, as anything, and again, you know this as a comic, I always say, I wish I had some new topics to talk about. Mm-hmm. Like, why is racism still working on stage? Yeah. Why is healthcare still working on stage? Why haven't we fix this? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like voting rights. Like, yeah, my parents were in those marches. Like, we got to do this again. Right. You know?
I know. When I was thinking about how somebody was explaining to me how they are shooting these devices, these small devices into space that are going into, I forget, to Mars, and that are blasting back information I can't get my fucking Bluetooth to hook up to that speaker. And I think we can figure that out, but we're still trying to figure out voting. Like, how is it that we can technologically be so advanced and on a social, cultural level, we are completely arrested?
Yeah, Eric Griffin has a great bit about voting online. And he's like, well, it's not secure. Well, how come banking is secure?
Yeah, right.
Like, I can spend money online, and there's no mistakes there, because then I would stop spending money online, and you would lose your business.
Yeah.
So how come I can spend money online, but I can't vote?
Yeah.
Online, because they don't want everyone to vote.
Yep. I don't fully understand. By the way, will you hand me the white cord that's on the ground? I got to plug my computer, and it's going to die. I don't fully understand ballot boxes. Like, can't you just use a mailbox? Why do you need a ballot box?
Right.
Do you understand that?
It's not. Well, near my house there's a park, and it has one of those ballot drop boxes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that looks like the most unsecure, inefficient way to, like, really?
Right.
I'm just dropping this in a box in the park, and I trust that my vote's going to be counted? Are you insane?
Yeah.
But
meanwhile, I got a mailbox on my corner that I put shit in every fucking day, and it's how I voted for the last 20 years.
Yeah, and they, and again, there was no problem with mail-in voting. They created that problem.
Yes.
There was nothing wrong with voting by mail, and they just decided we're going to make this seem like it's wrong.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, no, it works. It's very simple.
Yeah.
Like, your ballot's in there, and they look at it, and somebody checks off the boxes you voted, or they scan it through a computer, however they do it. And that was fine. Like you said, for 20 years, ever since they came up with it.
Yeah.
It was like, this is fine. And then in the last 5 years, they've decided, oh, no, this entire thing is corrupt.
Yeah.
Unless we win.
Right.
Then it's honest.
Right. So who do you want to see run? I mean, are we assuming Biden is not going to run again? I have been saying this as a joke, but I really do mean it. We need a white Obama. Yeah.
We need somebody with that kind of intelligence,
charisma,
wisdom, charisma, respect, but he has to be white so we can eliminate all the I'm not voting for him because he's black.
Right.
That automatic racist element that we have. Now, who's the white Obama? I haven't seen one. I don't know if we have one. People talk about Buttigieg, but he's gay, and America's not going to vote for a gay. Like, that's just not going to happen.
You're losing 20% off the top.
Right. Gavin Newsom, who's trying to make his moves now.
He was trying to be the white Obama.
Yeah. But America's not going to vote for California.
Right.
Like you have, like you said, 20%. There are states. He's from California?
Yeah.
No. So I don't know, but like that's what I would like to see. Something better. I don't think Biden's going to run again. I mean, and this is one of our problems, right? They're all in their 80s. It's not just him. Like I don't even know how old Mitch McConnell is. Does anyone know?
I think he he's older than Biden.
He's older than Biden, right? And then Pelosi is right behind Biden.
Mitch McConnell is 80 years old. Okay, so he was born in 1942. He's my mother's age. My mother, who can't finish a round of golf.
Right.
And is, she can't work a full day.
Half of our government should not be allowed to drive.
Yes.
Half of our government is, if they were your grandparents or your parents, you'd be like, all right, give me the keys.
Right.
You're no longer allowed to drive.
Why do we have people in charge of the country that are getting discounts because they're so elderly? That's not good.
Here's my test. We give you a phone in a box. And if you can't turn the phone on, connect it, and then log on to a social media, any social media, if you can't do that, then you're not allowed to govern, because that's what everyone does now. Like, you know,
that's how you should.
The moment you say the Facebook, are you on the Facebook?
Right.
Like, yeah, you're going to have to leave.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it should be. That's how you get into your office. It's got a scan on it. You have to download an app on a phone that opens your office, and if you can't get the app going, you can't get in. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe there should be a maximum age.
Yes,
I mean,
there should be 75.
75.
And I'm being generous at 75. Yeah. That's the max.
Right.
I mean, because somebody posted a thing about these federal offices, and like if you're a FBI or Secret Service or something, like, they're not even allowed to be 60. They're like out in their late 50s or something like that.
Really?
Yeah, they're pilots, just anything like that. Like, they have a maximum age.
Yeah.
Politicians are the only ones who, 83? Yeah, why not?
Well, how about Supreme Court till you die? Yeah, are you kidding me?
So here's the best editorial I read on the Supreme Court. And again, we don't do anything simple that makes sense, right? This person wrote, expand the Supreme Court to 25 or 27 justices. Now, both sides can add justices, and this way, when one dies, it doesn't change the course of the entire nation. Right? So if you went to 25, then, the liberals can add X number and the conservatives could, but then the court would be like, there'd be less sway with just one person.
Right.
Because that's a problem now. It's
a personality contest.
One person, like, we were all like, Roe v. Wade is because Ruth Bader Ginsburg couldn't hold on 2 more months.
Yeah.
God bless the old lady. She couldn't hang on 2 more months.
Right.
So we lose Roe v. Wade.
Right. I know. And now some of these guys are just going further to the right. Like Aaliyah has become like an activist.
Yeah.
He went from a guy who didn't speak a lot. He was somewhat fair, and now is just an angry fucking.
He's angry. Clarence is angry.
Yeah.
The handmaid. What's her name? The Amy...
Klobuchar?
No, Amy Cohen or whatever, the one on the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
Like, she literally was a handmaid in college. Like, she's
yeah.
Like, super religious.
Right.
But one of her beliefs is that her husband runs the house. So what happens when she wants to vote and her husband says, no, you do it the other way?
Exactly.
And maybe she won't, but that shouldn't even be a question.
Right.
That shouldn't even be a question. And then my favorite is Kavanaugh, because I said it then, I stand by it. There is no job interview in which you can yell, I like beer, and get the job. There is no, I don't care if you work for McDonald's or the bus company. Yeah. I don't care if you work at Nordstrom.
Right.
There is no job interview that you can angrily yell, I like beer.
Yeah.
And still get the job.
Right. For life, till you die. Yeah. Till the beer runs out.
Even a bartender yelling, I like beer. They're like, nah, I don't think this is gonna work.
Do you like justice? Nope. Beer. So you got to update your Wikipedia page, my friend. You've done a lot of stuff recently, and it's not on there.
It's been good. Wikipedia is a weird parallel universe. Do you ever read your Wikipedia? Do you update your Wikipedia?
I don't. I also need to update. The reason why I say this is I need to update mine, and I don't think it's hard. I think you can log in and
I think the problem is anyone can log in and add stuff to your Wikipedia page. Well,
you've got, here's the stuff you need to add. You need to add your new special called Stupid Don't Get Tired is not on there, from Helium Comedy Studios. Your Scary Movie 4, Bringing Down the House, The Girl Next Door, documentary Right to Offend, The Black Comedy Revolution, CBS comedy series Ghosts. None of that shit is on your Wikipedia page.
Got to get it on there. When I knew Wikipedia was crazy, there's this thing about me being a motorcycle racer on there.
Oh, really?
It's a phenomenal story about me racing Ducatis.
Yeah.
Because years ago, I crashed a Ducati at a track day, but we just go out there, like just where we ride. Like a motorcycle racer is literally half of my size. They're jockeys.
Yeah.
But this story was so good, I was like, I don't know who posted this, but thank you.
You're not taking it down.
Oh, I'm not taking it down.
Right.
Why would I ruin your great story with the truth? And that's when I realized, like, who writes? I don't know who writes on Wikipedia, but I'll take it.
Yeah. So let's talk about some of these projects. What's this series, Ghosts?
Oh man, this was a stretch. My acting skills were pushed to the maximum. Ghosts is this show. It's a new CBS show where this couple,
sitcom.
Yeah, they got the B&B.
Yeah.
And it's haunted. It's in a haunted place, so the ghosts kind of hang out.
Yeah.
So I'm playing a 90s comic on TV that the ghosts are watching on TV.
That's hilarious. Did you do material from your own act?
No. All they had me do was a punchline. And the punchline was like, see, it's a bracelet. Cut.
That belongs on Wikipedia, my friend.
Oh, man, it was fun. It was hilarious.
Yeah.
I mean, the crew was literally cracking up because I had to keep doing it different ways, but in that 90s comedy.
Yeah.
That way. And it was, it was funny.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, it was funny.
Yeah, and then what's the documentary?
That was fantastic. Right to Offend, A&E did this. And I don't know if you've
Was that Kevin Hart's project?
Yeah. I don't know if you've ever had this experience where they invite you to film something, like we want to talk to you about something, and then you find out, oh, this is like legitly, really good. You know what I mean? Like this ain't
never
your
happened to me.
podcast. No. So this was one of those where they did it was fantastic. They started at vaudeville. And they went through the history of black comedy, through the Amos and Andy era and the
what's her name?
Mom's Mabley. They did a lot about Dick Gregory. They touched on, Flip Wilson, Richard Pryor, Cosby.
Red Fox.
Yeah, everybody. It was really well done. And then in the modern era, they got into Pryor, Eddie Murphy, Whoopi Goldberg. Just right up to Chappelle and Chris Rock and Kevin Hart. And they interviewed a bunch of us comics and some producers and other people about these people. And it was really cool. And the thing they did with me that it blew my mind and flattered me. So they talked about our individual history, and we talked about me being... I started out as a doorman at the Laugh Factory.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that was my first. Oh,
no
gig.
shit.
I did Jamie's open mic, and he hired me as a doorman. And I could get up when people didn't show. So I used to say, I used to hope that Damon Wayans got a flat, or George Lopez gets into a car accident, anything that'll get me some stage time. Dom Herrera, whatever, and. So they shot me that way, and then at the end of the documentary, that's where they showed me, sitting at the door of the Laugh Factory. It's like one of the last shots, and it was really, so it was one of those things that I was happy to be invited, but then when I saw how the whole thing went, it was like, wow.
Yeah. I'm
kind of blown away that I was invited, So it's streaming, and...
it's... How would you say the Kings of Comedy affected black comedy in this country?
You know who it affected? It affected it in the sense that the networks in Hollywood found out how much money there was.
Right.
Hollywood, I've always said, people talk about Hollywood discrimination, prejudice, Hollywood's favorite color is green.
Right. Exactly.
When they see green,
because the guys that did that, they were working black clubs exclusively and black theaters. This was Bernie Mac before he was on anything.
And Bernie was making, $20,000 a week, a weekend, and they had no idea. And then so when Kings of Comedy, when that tour, I think that tour grossed $50 million or some crazy
So it was Cedric,
amount.
Bernie,
DL, and Steve Harvey.
Right.
But at the end of that tour, Hollywood was like, whoa, there's that kind of money?
Yeah.
Okay, let's start hiring. And that's when Bernie got his sitcom. Steve Harvey and Cedric had already had they were on the Steve Harvey show.
Uh-huh.
But then it was like, okay, we have to give Steve Harvey all the jobs.
Right. Right.
Steve gets everything.
Yeah.
Steve's going to do radio, TV, commercials, you name it. We're going to give Steve all the jobs.
Yeah.
And, so that was the big change. The big change was Hollywood saw, there's a huge audience here that we've been ignoring.
Right.
And suddenly, so it did open up opportunities. Like without Kings of Comedy, Kevin Hart doesn't blow up the way he did. Lil Rel. And then the women, right?
The Queens of Comedy.
The Queens of Comedy, and now you look at Tiffany, and just the women doing comedy, doing movies, doing TV, that whole world. Even though they're not comics, but I think like the Gabrielle Union and Queen Latifah and all doing the black rom-coms and all of that, like all of that. Hollywood didn't see any of that, and then they were like, whoa, there's all kind of money here. The Wayans brothers and the movies they made, all of that stuff. I think just from Kings of Comedy, Hollywood saw there's a ton of money.
I remember that feeling like a seismic shift. I remember when that tour happened and all that stuff started happening. Even Cedric started getting, I wrote on Cedric's show. He had a show, I think it was just called Cedric the Entertainer Presents. And, and you just saw this guy come out and do a monologue. My job was a monologue with him. We would write monologue shows together. I had nothing in common with Cedric whatsoever, except that we both had the same sense of humor. And so he'd come out and he would nail a monologue, which, by the way, we would riff on twice during the week. Wouldn't write anything. I would write shit down. He wouldn't look at it. He'd get his makeup done. I'd be like, Cedric, and then you talk about this, and then you can talk about it. Yeah, I got it. Go out, fucking nail it. No teleprompter, no cue cards. Go straight into a fucking choreographed dance number with the Sensation dancers, and he would nail a dance number, and then he would do 5 completely different characters in sketches and kill. Like, this guy knows how to land a fucking joke in a sketch. I mean, it was like, I've written on a lot of shows. I've never worked with anybody as talented as Cedric.
And that's the thing, the talent that some of these guys have, and they had the whole time. I mean, this is part of what Right to Offend is about, right? That these people were so super talented and funny, but didn't get the chance.
Yeah.
Like when you look at Dick Gregory, imagine being at the top of your career and then walking away to be an activist.
All right.
Like literally just saying, this doesn't feel right. I can't make white people laugh and be discriminated against. So I'm just going to step over here.
You mean he felt like with the way he was being treated?
No, with what was like kind of like Kaepernick in that like society, this is the 60s, right? So he's looking at what's going on in society and he's like, I can't have this voice and not speak. Oh, I
see. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't have this big a voice and not speak.
Right.
And he was the biggest, one of the biggest names in comedy when he did that.
Right.
Right. So that's what the documentary's about. It's about stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it was really good. And they had to touch on Cosby, which was definitely a delicate area, but he is part of the history of black comedy in America.
Right.
So you couldn't do the history of black comedy and not mention Bill Cosby. But you also have to mention, but he kind of threw away his legacy, by being a monster.
Right. Yeah. But what he achieved for black performers in his time, he broke a lot of doors down.
A lot of barriers.
Yeah.
And gave a lot of people jobs.
Yeah.
He was the first guy to say, when he did I Spy, no, it has to be a black stuntman. They used to use white stuntmen in blackface.
No shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And he was the first one to say, no, I need a black stuntman.
Wow.
You got to my double has to be black. And he, which completely opened up that business for black stunt performers, doubles, and
yeah. But think about all the white guys in blackface that were out of work because of that. You got to look at both sides of it.
You know, I know it's tough being white in America, Fitz.
It is. It's fucking hard, man. It's really hard. I mean, it was so easy for so long. I had a good fucking ride from the time I was born until about, 4 years ago?
4 years.
4 years has been tough. I've seen my income drop by like 15%. It's fucking brutal.
Oh, you know, I laugh about that. Like, I got a dog during the pandemic, right?
Yeah.
I'm one of the pandemic puppy people. And I love my dog. He's a Great Dane. He's fantastic. But it's like, when people say it's a dog's life, it's like, I wish. Could I have it today? It's 110 in the valley. I'm running errands. I'm running around. And I came home and like, I woke him up like I could, like he was in REM sleep. You know what I mean? He wasn't just taking. You know how dogs will always be on a nap, ready to pop up. Now he woke up like, oh, what's going on? Yeah. Oh, you're back home? Yeah, all right, keep it down. Like I was like, man.
Yeah.
You kidding?
Wait, are you comparing a dog's life to a white man's life?
No. I'm just saying that, you know, when people
because I do nap. I do some REM napping.
When people complain, it's like you said earlier. We have to keep it in perspective.
Yeah.
You know, and jokingly, like Chris Rock has had this great joke about, you know, a black person from the 20s would look at today. What would they say? They'd be, man, you got it good.
Yeah.
You know, and it's, you know, and I get that joke.
All right.
He's another one. It's weird. I didn't realize there was that much pushback against Chris Rock. And then lately I've heard like things like, and I'm like, really? Like,
pushback from who?
From the black community.
Oh, about the N-word routine?
Yeah, Chris Rock exposing dirty laundry.
Right.
And I'm 100% okay with it.
Yeah.
You know, because it's hilarious. So you got to laugh at yourself.
Well, I think some of the resentment was that he traditionally has worked more for white audiences than black audiences. I think that's changed, but I think for most of his career...
There was a show that, and I don't know where it came from because I just saw a clip on YouTube, but it was him and Kevin Hart talking about that.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's the case. I think that their audience is so big that, of course, it's white people.
Yeah.
Because you couldn't have that big an audience without white people.
Right.
You know, so like, I think it's disingenuous to say that, you know, Kevin Hart performs for white people. Well, Kevin Hart performs for everybody.
Right.
So there's going to be a bunch of white people, you know, and I mean, I dealt with this in my career, right? Because I was, you know, mainstream comic versus being a black comic, right? You know, and I don't like the labels, but those are the labels they use. And, you know, you mentioned Cedric. Cedric's one of the guys that early on, when I was catching hell in black clubs, because remember, it was the 90s, it was a Def Jam era.
Yeah.
And I'm not a Def Jam comic.
Right.
And he was one of the guys who said, man, keep doing what you do.
Yeah.
He was like, you do you know? Because I couldn't, you know, if I did a Def Jam act, it just wouldn't come across genuine.
Right.
Right? And that's the worst thing as a comic, to not be genuine.
Right. So. Yeah, that's interesting because white comics don't face that. They don't have to face which audience they're gonna.
Right.
I wouldn't say cater to, but attract. I mean, how do you? You know, like Chris Rock happened to end up on HBO, which has got a much higher white viewership than black viewership. So he's going to end up with more white people coming to his shows than a comedian that was doing Def Jam, for sure, if that was their draw. But I mean, do you not do the HBO show because you want to only have black audiences? I mean, that's not something I've ever had to think about.
Right. And you know, it's almost unique to comedy in that in music, right? Like a hip hop artists, so many of them, there's more white kids in the suburbs listening to them,
right?
You know, than black people where they came from.
Yeah.
But is Jay-Z a sellout for being a billionaire and being able to sell out a stadium?
Yeah.
Right. I don't know.
No, I think the answer is definitely no.
But I mean, you know, when you get into that kind of judgment, it's ridiculous to me. You know, because this isn't a thing of like a Clarence Thomas where you are catering to white people.
Yeah.
Where you are trying to do in sports. You're a sports fan, so there's a guy named Jason Whitlock. Jason Whitlock, like he was attacking Serena Williams. It's like, Jason, stop it.
What did he attack her for?
He says she's not the GOAT. Martina Navratilova had more wins, and he even went so far into the Serena's build, like genetically she's big. It was all the arguments you heard from these white racists about Serena.
Yeah.
He was doing.
Yeah. I've always found that Serena has been the best litmus test of racism of anybody I've ever seen, because I have been in love with Serena since day one. And whenever I would catch pushback from another white person about her, it always felt like, what is it that you really don't like about her? Yeah. She's an incredible athlete. She's well-spoken. She's got balls. She puts it all on the court. And I don't know. It just always felt to me like if you kept pushing somebody hard enough on why they don't like Serena, you're going to get to because she's black.
Yeah. Well, it was the same way with Tiger.
Yeah. Right.
It was the same way with Tiger. Like
more so with Tiger, probably. Yeah.
And Tiger, and the only thing that was different was with Tiger is that he was so good, they had to shut up.
Yeah.
It just got to a point, like there was something I was reading where this guy was comparing Serena to Tiger and LeBron, and I had a huge problem with that. I'm like, no, you can't compare them. They're each GOATs in their own sport.
Yeah,
and
right.
And I said, but the thing about Tiger, the difference with Tiger is they changed the golf courses. He was so good, they had to change the golf courses to make it harder. Like if he played on the courses Nicklaus played on, he might have won 50 majors.
Yeah.
He might have been like, wait a minute, the green is right there?
Right.
Like I hit a 7-iron that far.
Yeah. Right.
Like I think him and Kareem are the only two where they changed the rules to make it more difficult. Like
was it a 3-point line change with Kareem?
When Kareem went to college, they banned the dunk.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
They banned the dunk, and which caused him to create the skyhook, the greatest shot in history, right? The most unblockable. It's like, yes, that was a bad idea.
Yeah.
Probably should have let him dunk.
It just made him stronger. He just mutated into a stronger version.
That last 4,000 points, if you let him dunk, he might not have got those, right?
Oh, that's amazing. All right, well, listen, you're one of the GOATs. You're not the GOAT, but you're one of the GOATs.
It's good to be with you, man. We're old vets. We're still here.
We're still here, still enjoying it, still fucking going up there, trying new stuff, enjoying bombing as much as...
Still relevant.
Yeah, still relevant.
That's I don't know about you, but when you go to the clubs and, like, they literally now, that you could be my kid.
Yeah.
But we're still on the stage. Like I haven't hit the retirement circuit in Florida yet.
Right. I'll happily go when it's my time. Give me my fucking ticket to Boca Raton. I'll be there. Club dates coming up. You'll be in Seattle, Washington on September 23rd and 24th. Buffalo, New York, September 29th and October 1st. Colorado Springs, October 14th and 15th. And then you've got this Wait stand-up tour, which is going to be in Michigan, in Ann Arbor on October 21st, Kalamazoo on the 22nd. And then you got some other dates coming up in Tampa, Arlington, and St. Louis.
Arlington. We're going to Portland, Seattle.
Yeah.
You can find all of those. Just go to Wait, Don't Tell Me, and they'll have the dates. And we keep adding. That tour is already going to be booked for 23.
Oh, no shit.
I'm going to be working, so I'll be in comedy for at least one more year.
That's all you need. If I can grab one more year and then go to Boca Raton after that, I'll be a happy man.
So I got one more year at the very least.
All right, well, enjoy your final year, my friend.
Absolutely.
All right, thanks for coming on.
Man, love you, Fitz.
Oh, wait.
What do we
the special.
Yes. Stupid Don't
Meredith
Get Tired.
is going to fucking scream at me if we don't bring this up.
Stupid Don't Get Tired on YouTube, Helium Comedy, or you can just go to AlonzoBodden.com. There's links to everything. We did it at Helium in Philly. We
like my second favorite club in the country.
Yeah, great club.
Great club.
And, I'm going to have to do Stupid Don't Get Tired Part 2 because it literally doesn't.
Yeah.
So, like, there's an unending supply of material. I went at the anti-vaxxers on this one because we were dealing with that at the time, and of course the politicians and stuff. But now the everyday stupid has been getting me. I was at Ralph's. You know, Ralph's is all self-serve now. We're all employees at the grocery store. Right. And they have one person for the 6 checkouts, right? And I needed change, so I asked the guy, "Do you have change for 20?" And he said, "You need lotto tickets?" And I was like, "Nah, I'm making a left turn." Because now we're just randomly answering questions. We're not even going to answer direct. Right? But this is life today. Like, we're not even going to answer direct questions anymore.
He's questioning your question.
Yeah, it's like, you know. Right. So we're just throwing out. But yeah, it's I was on the 405, and I guarantee you have seen this, Fitz. People will put a towel over their side window to keep the sun out.
Sure.
Don't you think you should see next to you if you're driving on the freeway? Like, shouldn't you be somewhat interested in what's next to you?
Right.
Like, you live.
It's not a voting booth. It's a moving vehicle.
And you get to a point where you can't even argue. You're like, how do I explain to you that as you're barreling along at 70 plus miles an hour in a 2-ton vehicle, you should be able to see around you. I'm sorry, the sun is hot.
Yeah, left is a major direction. It's one of the major directions to be aware of while driving.
So Stupid Don't Get Tired is an unending source of material.
I love it. I can't wait to see the special. Congrats on that. And congrats because I know Helium is just launching these specials, and you're one of the first ones to do it. And who knows? Maybe that's something a lot of comics are going to do. I know they've got a good roster of people that have started doing it. And who knows?
All right. Well, thank you, sir.
All right. All the best. God bless.